Namaskar, Jai Shri Krishna. Galvanizing, text 1, text 2, text 3, text 4 and text 5 of chapter 18, Maharaj Pariksit cursed by a Brahman boy of first canto creation of Srimad Bhagavatam. Text 1, Sut Uvacha, Yo Vai Dronayastra Vipalushto Na Maturudare Mrutah Anugrahad Bhagavatah Krishnasya Bhutakarmanah. Shri Suta Goswami said, due to the mercy of the personality of Godhead Shri Krishna, who acts wonderfully, Maharaj Pariksit, though struck by the weapon of the son of Drona in his mother's womb, could not be burned. The sages of Naimisharanya became struck with wonder after hearing about the wonderful administration of Maharaj Pariksit, especially in reference to his punishing the personality of Kali and making him completely unable to do any harm within the kingdom. Suta Goswami was equally anxious to describe Maharaj Parikshit's wonderful birth and death, and this verse is stated by Suta Goswami to increase the interest of the sages of Naimisharanya. Text 2. Brahma kopota thitada yastu takshakata prana vipal vata na sammu mohoru bhayada bhagavatatyara pitashayah. Furthermore, Maharaj Pariksit was always consciously surrendered to the personality of Godhead, and therefore he was neither afraid nor overwhelmed by fear due to a snake bird which was to bite him because of the fury of a Brahman boy. A self-surrendered devotee of the Lord is called Narayana-parayana. Such a person is never afraid of any place or person, not even of death. For him, nothing is as important as the Supreme Lord, and thus he gives equal importance to heaven and hell. He knows well that both heaven and hell are creations of the Lord, and similarly life and death are different conditions of existence created by the Lord. But in all conditions and in all circumstances, remembrance of Narayan is essential. The Narayana-parayana practices this constantly. Maharaj Pariksit was such a pure devotee. He was wrongfully cursed by an inexperienced son of a Brahman who was under the influence of Kali, and Maharaj Pariksit took this to be sent by Narayan. He knew that Narayan Lord Krishna had saved him when he was born in the womb of his mother, and if he were to be killed by a snake bite, it would also take place by the will of the Lord. The devotee never goes against the will of the Lord. Anything sent by God is a blessing for the devotee. Therefore, Maharaj Pariksit was neither afraid of nor bewildered by such things. That is a sign of a pure devotee of the Lord. Text 3. Uttasrujya sarvatah sangam Vijnata jita samasthitiha Vayasa kera jahau shishyo gangayam swama kalevaram. Furthermore, after leaving all his associates, the king surrendered himself as a disciple to the son of Vasudevaya Goswami, and thus he was able to understand the actual position of the personality of Godhead. The word Ajita is significant here. The personality of Godhead Shri Krishna is known as Ajita or unconquerable, and he is so in every respect. No one can know his actual position. He is unconquerable by knowledge also. We have heard about his dham or place, eternal Goloka Vrindavan, but there are many scholars who interpret this abode in many ways. But by the grace of a spiritual master like Shukdev Goswami, unto whom the king gave himself up as a most humble disciple, one is able to understand the actual position of the Lord, his eternal abode, and his transcendental paraphernalia in that dham or abode. Knowing the transcendental position of the Lord and the transcendental method by which one can approach that transcendental dham, the king was confident about his ultimate destination, and by knowing this, he could leave aside everything material, even his own body, without any difficulty of attachment. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated, Param Drushtava Nivartate. One can give up all connection with material attachment when one is able to see the Param or the superior quality of things. From Bhagavad Gita, we understand the quality of the Lord's energy that is superior to the material quality of energy. And by the grace of a bona fide spiritual master like Shukdev Goswami, it is quite possible to know everything of the superior energy of the Lord, by which the Lord manifests his eternal name, quality, pastimes, paraphernalia and variegatedness. Unless one thoroughly understands the superior or eternal energy of the Lord, it is not possible to leave the material energy. However, one may theoretically speculate on the true nature of the absolute truth. By the grace of Lord Krishna, Maharaj Pariksit was able to receive the mercy of such a personality as Shukdev Goswami, and thus he was able to know the actual position of the unconquerable Lord. It is very difficult to find the Lord from the Vedic literatures, but it is very easy to know him by the mercy of a liberated devotee like Shukdev Goswami. Text 4. Nottama shloka vartanam jushatama tata kathamritam syata samabhramo antakale api smaratama tata padam bhujam. This was so because those who have dedicated their lives to the transcendental topics of the personality of Godhead, of whom the Vedic hymns sing, who are constantly engaged in remembering the lotus feet of the Lord, do not run the risk of getting misconceptions even at the last moment of their lives. The highest perfection of life is attained by remembering the transcendental nature of the Lord at the last moment of one's life. This perfection of life is made possible by one who has learned the actual transcendental nature of the Lord from the Vedic hymns sung by a liberated soul like Shukdev Goswami or someone in that line of disciplic succession. There is no gain in hearing the Vedic hymns from some mental speculator. When the same is heard from an actual self-realized soul and is properly understood by service and submission, everything becomes transparently clear. Thus, a submissive disciple is able to live transcendentally and continue to the end of life. By scientific adaptation, one is able to remember the Lord even at the end of life, when the power of remembrance is slackened due to derangement of bodily membranes. For a common man, it is very difficult to remember things as they are at the time of death, but by the grace of the Lord and his bona fide devotees, the spiritual masters, one can get this opportunity without difficulty. And it was done in the case of Maharaj Pariksit. Text 5. Tavata kaliran prabhaveta pravishto apiha sarvataha yavadisho mahanura vyama bhimanyava ekarata. As long as the great powerful son of Abhimanyu remains the emperor of the world, there is no chance that the personality of Kali will flourish. As we have already explained, the personality of Kali had entered the jurisdiction of this earth long ago, and he was looking for an opportunity to spread his influence all over the world. But he could not do so satisfactorily due to the presence of Maharaj Pariksit. That is the way of good government. The disturbing elements like the personality of Kali will always try to extend their nefarious activities, but it is the duty of the able state to check them by all means. Although Maharaj Pariksit allotted places for the personality of Kali, at the same time, he gave no chance for the citizens to be swayed by the personality of Kali. Thank you.